Welcome to the Japanese podcast number 10. Today we're going to be talking about anime ops, the news, and a few other things here and there. Welcome everyone. Welcome Yash. Welcome Dylan. How you guys doing?
Hi there.
Hello.
Good,
Doing
good.
well.
Self?
I am energetic apparently. So that's good.
Sweet. That's good.
Genki. But yeah, so I think let's just dive into our news stories. And I had a lot of trouble finding good ones for this week. But there are a few things, just maybe like some short ones to talk about. I might talk about a few because I don't think they're going to take long. Japan's population is plummeting. It decreased by almost 700,000 last year.
Sure.
Which,
Largest decrease since 1950.
I'm not entirely sure why. It's not all just like people dying necessarily. That only accounts for like 100,000 of these figures. I think a lot of it is people are moving away from Japan, particularly foreign residents. That's a large number that went down. And there's also just not a lot of new Japanese people being born in Japan, which also accounts for that. So yeah, it's sad. On the other hand, positive thing about this, what I like about population decline in a really wealthy country, is that you get things like luxury trains that used to be crammed full of people, and now can be converted into like mini apartments for long distance travel.
Travel. Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've seen any of those things. So you can rent an apartment for like a long train journey, basically.
It's so curious that they're having such a significant problem with population, and yet their restrictions on allowing people in are still so insane.
You can also go take a shower if you want. Sounds quite pleasant, and I think that's basically because these train services have more space, less customers, and they're trying to like make up for it by, charging
Offering a
bit more.
better service for more money.
So that's a positive aspect of it, I guess. You don't have. It's not all doom and gloom. And I mean, it's very sad, but it's mostly really old people who are passing away in Japan. So, I mean, they've had a good innings, as we would say. Already. But moving on to less depressing topics, there's a new Legend of the Galactic Heroes movie. Third one, I believe.
It's going to be the third OAV. I don't know if it's a full movie or is it just a...
They call
like
it a movie.
Okay.
But it's just a streaming thing. And it's annoying because it's on like a really obscure Japanese streaming service that I don't want to pay for. So I probably will not pay for it if I do decide to watch it. And these movies should just be one season. I think there must have been some sort of funding issue and they didn't get made into one. So that's really annoying because the first season of the second thesis is very, very good. It's kind of amazing. Gundam deserves to have something done to it like that. Like the original Galactic Heroes was just remade into this really well done, kind of delicious to look at, very scintillating, enthralling kind of show. Good drama, good nuance, like cleverly done.
Exactly. It had its pacing
to
changed to be a little bit faster.
Yeah, quite a lot faster, but also kind of still slow in the way that the episodes are done. But they're all like kind of self-contained, and so they're like, it feels like watching an episode of a like old TV show, an old 45-minute TV show. Even though they're not that long, they're just normal 22 minute episodes, but they're just paced in a nice way.
I think they did a very good job of trying to convert it into something that could get new people interested in it.
Yes, no, I agree. Everyone should check it out if they can. There is this is the best news I've found so far. there's a second season coming of a much anticipated anime. In Another World, with my smartphone gets a second season.
Oh my god.
The sad thing is, I will watch it. I'll hate myself for watching it, but I will watch it. It might be the most vapid anime series ever made.
There is one worse, but I can't even remember its name. That is how bad it is. I finished the beginning. I finished that season of In Another World with my smartphone, and then I went on to read the manga until that got cancelled.
You know, like the weird thing is, like a bunch of my friends, including you, have watched this. We all hated it, or felt like bad for watching it, but we all watched it. I guess that's why we're getting a second season. It's our fault. We should.
Bad.
It is so terrible.
Yeah.
And on a lighter note, though, and a better note, Spy X Family is getting the same ratings as One Piece in Japan. It's not Demon Slayer high, but
No.
I mean, it's kind of incredible for the kind of show it is.
I don't know. You sadly have been on the receiving end of me saying, if Spy and Family ever gets an anime adaptation, it'll be incredible. And then when it was announced, I'd been crowing about it for a while.
Yeah.
I can tell you that it actually develops better than what it's doing right now. So I actually think it's going to keep its audience better than a lot of these shows. Because, you know, a lot of shows get a significant audience and then it declines as people lose interest.
Yeah.
Spy X Family, I guarantee you, is going to keep a much higher audience retention rate than most other anime.
Well,
it's got a ridiculously good story to tell.
I mean, I haven't started watching it yet, to be honest. I'm just going to wait until there's at least 2 episodes out.
Likewise, yeah.
But I've saved them on my list in the various apps
for things to watch. Yeah. Dylan, you haven't been on the receiving end because you don't normally ask for anime suggestions.
Yeah.
But this is one of those ones that's going to become an anime classic in 10 years' time.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it popping up in my feeds so regularly that I've added it to my list to have a look at.
The problem I have is a lot of shows have very good visuals and a good introduction. So you'll get a couple of shows every season that like starts popping up everywhere. But if it doesn't have a great story, it's just one of those things where you eat like popcorn and discard.
Yeah.
Spy X Family is not one of those. It has a fantastic story and an incredible cast.
There are a couple of shows that are getting a second season that have just come back. There is Kami Can't Communicate, I believe is the English title.
Kami-san continues to be fantastic.
Japanese people don't watch it though, which is because it's only on Netflix, I think, and not on other Japanese streaming services.
But also, Kami became super popular with the foreign market because it was published officially in a foreign market.
No, it was actually from Shonen.
It's from Shonen.
Sunday, I think was.
But they made their web reader with the English version publicly available and pushed it in the West.
Right. I mean, I love the style of the show. I don't know if you haven't watched it. Like, it's a kind of like reading text based in some ways. Is the gimmick of the show. They have a narrator, and everything the narrator says appears as words on the screen.
Yeah.
And in like either a stylized way or like a kind of a clever way or just as a word bubble or something like that.
Yeah.
And sometimes there is just text on the screen that you have to read, which is annoying to me because my Japanese reading is slower than my English reading, so I wish they would just talk. But I mean, it's got a really nice, unique kind of style to it. It feels kind of like Monogatari did back in the day.
But less serious.
Less serious, obviously. Nothing like the tone, just in its unique kind of style.
Cool.
What do you guys have? Starting with Dylan, I guess.
Sure.
Yeah, I'll go right ahead. So nothing major in terms of international news. Just something sort of as a quiet closing note. The robot Asimo is retiring. For those of you who don't know, Asimo has been Honda's sort of
Ambassador AI robot.
robotic brand ambassador, if you will,
They
for the
taught it
last
to play
22
soccer.
years. Yeah.
It's basically just an iPad
Yeah.
with some servos attached to it. It was a cool idea, though.
Yeah, I mean it's essentially an icon, right, for where we were hoping robotics would go. Not that the field of robotics is lacking in any appreciable means. But it's
one day
certainly
Boston Dynamics is going to just reveal that they're Skynet, I suppose.
Yeah.
And that's
well, if they do that, they're going to get sued because there is already Skynet. But
Indeed,
maybe they'll purchase Skynet out and then change their name.
Isn't Skynet just a delivery company, though, in real life?
Here locally, I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there are a few globally.
I'm sure they are. I liked Asimo back in the early 2000s. It's about time they either upgraded to a better robot, or just admit that they're not actually doing anything with robotics.
Yeah, like I mean, I don't mind the concept of having a sort of a brand icon that you keep in your museum and sort of dance around.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's not going to be doing that anymore. They do say that they'll bring him out for or her or it, I suppose, is a better description. They'll bring it out every now and then, but certainly not for scheduled performances. And
I mean, Japan might not be the cutting edge of robotics at the moment, but what they are cutting edge of is robotic suits. Kind of nothing like an Iron Man suit or anything, but like an exoskeleton kind of thing that you'd see in
for medical use, especially for disabilities.
Yeah, or just for people who need to lift heavy things. Was another one that I saw. But they're also working with a weapons company. I think it's called. What's the French one? What's that one? I can't.
Which one of the French ones?
Yeah, I can't actually remember.
It's okay.
It just fled my mind. On it's an armored assisted suit, which is really cool because it doesn't have any eye holes in the face plating. It's just got a side camera which gives you a video feed directly to the inside of your thing.
Sure.
So it's actually like bulletproof armor that could potentially be thick enough to block modern bullets.
Yeah.
So we're slowly edging towards that Gundam future.
But
anyway, yeah. Yes.
I just wanted to update about a story I had previously talked about. The Tohoku Shinkansen's Yamabiko 340 is back on the rails.
That
is
the bullet train.
Correct. The bullet train that I had said was derailed during the earthquake had every one of its cars serviced, realigned, and placed back on tracks. And the entire length of the track has been safety tested, found safe, and returned to service. Total time offline was 28 days, not quite a month. But the train is now running full service.
There's like this engineering kind of thing that happens in every Star Trek, where the chief engineer lies about how long it will take, for a job to be done. I think it started in the original series, where Scotty said, just pad it by a couple of hours, and then they're always amazed when you can deliver.
The exact episode you're talking about is episode 2 of TNG, actually, where Scotty was stuck in a transporter buffer and got rescued by the TNG crew, and he's talking to LaForge. And he says, always pad whatever time the captain asks for by 20%. And then when they ask you to move heaven and earth and you do it, you look like a god.
I mean, that's a standard engineering practice, by the way. Not the 20%, the like 50 maybe.
Right. Yeah, and they make fun of it in Lower Decks, where they call it buffer time, so that you have enough time to relax between jobs as well. I just don't think that concept is a thing in Japan. So things are just done as quickly as they can be done.
Everyone
else in the world is amazed when they get done on time.
So the saying we always use is under promise, over perform.
is anime ops. So anime ops, songs that start off an anime, and we're just doing ops today, right? That was our decision. As far as I know.
Yes, we're specifically focusing on ups. Although I do think it would be fair to mention some eds if they are related in any way.
Maybe we'll do another episode on eds and like how they differ from ops. Maybe we should speak about that actually quickly, just to clarify. People hate eds for some reason.
There is an unpopularity to them.
And I think it's because the idea in Japan of the op and the ed is that they should have very different tones. And so the op is generally the hype, like the, like a warm-up comedian act would be. And the ed is like the cool down, moving you on. It's like a palate cleanser for whatever's coming next. So you have we were just talking about GTO a few weeks ago, and how its op and ed are pretty great, right? The original, the op is Driver's High, and the end is called, I think it's translated as called My Favorite Things. And it's like a punk rock 1980s Cool Britannia kind of, like an English kind of rock and roll kind of thing going on there, right? And it's just guitar and drums and those really cool like chords you hear. It's kind of almost like a Dragon Ball Z sort of style thing. Right?
Yeah, very very upbeat and energetic.
And then there's this acoustic ending where it's just this melancholy song of a girl singing about the various favorite things in her life. Both are equally good, I feel, but they do feel very different, and a lot of people don't like the downer of the ed, I think. Am I wrong? Am I right?
I think you're right. Like, I think, I mean, it's difficult. I feel like eds have a difficult position to fill because when you reach the end of your episode, you kind of want to get to the next one because most people binge anime, and so your ending is sort of in the way. Whereas your opening is like, getting into it now.
I like listening to the songs.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's normal though.
No,
most people skip them.
I think in a long series, people tend to skip after the first one. But I think at least for me, every session of anime, if I'm going to binge an anime, I'll listen to the op once and then skip after that.
Yeah, I very rarely watch more than one episode of anime at a time though. So I think that's why I don't skip them.
Yeah. And I think it depends on the the preference for music, and in particular, preference for your anime ops.
There's also
whether or not you're going to do it.
I mean, I used to work at a university for a few years, and we did a lot of research. And one of the things I was doing research on was otaku, and there's a Japanese researcher who wrote an article called "Otaku: The Database Animal," and it just his point was that the kind of people who are geeks are kind of people who like to notice and categorize and make note of things. And I think for me, I like to notice everything that's happening, and sometimes I feel like I'm going to lose out on something. What if they change the opening, slightly in the middle of the show to indicate that it's a different part of the show,
new arc, or
like a different arc.
They often do that in anime nowadays, so they don't spoil things. You'll get for the first half of the season, you'll only get the characters that show up in that first half of the season.
Yeah.
And even if the song doesn't change, they'll change the artwork in the opening in the second half of the season, and that gives you like a kind of a heads up on what might be coming. So so about Legend of the Galactic Heroes. I just like to compare the old song that happened in the first iteration of that and then the second one, and just note that they went with the same style. They chose they're different songs, right? But they chose a song sung in English by a Japanese person for both of the ops, and then a Japanese song for the end. And it's and they're kind of the same level of quality, except one's like in the 1980s and one's is done now. I love it when Japanese people sing in English because you can tell that this person is giving it all they have, right?
Yeah.
And it's sung to this beautiful melody. It kind of sounds almost like she's trying to be like Celine Dion or something, and give this kind of ballad style opening.
Mm.
The grammar is just so bad. The pronunciation is to the point where it's just unintelligible most of the time.
Yeah, I think if you take it the
Thank God
average,
for
it
subs.
definitely is there.
Yeah, well, there are often no subs on
English
Ops.
spoken parts.
Well, no, just on Ops in general. Even if it's
Oh, that's also
Japanese,
true to a certain extent.
only your shonen stuff gets it's Ops subbed nowadays.
Subbed. So about Ops, though, I did want to say that the up and down meta is also kind of mostly set up for shonen. I will say that particularly well done anime are trying to set your mood for whatever their anime is. I know Chris doesn't like this particular anime, but one of my favorite anime of all time is Tanaka-kun is Always Listless. And its up was a very slow beat that slowed down as the song went on. Because the point of the anime itself is it's a slice of life about being lazy. And then the ed is a slowly speeding up fluff piece. Because it wants to leave you with the feeling of warmth while bringing you back into maybe you do have to move and think and do things.
Did I even watch that? How can I not like it?
You
maybe
said
confusing
nothing
with
happened.
me with another. I don't know
No.
if I said it about that. I think I said that about
Origairu?
Origairu,
There's no
I
way you
think.
said it about Origairu.
That's the one where my life is a comedy thing.
Snafu.
Comedy?
Yeah.
Snafu.
Origairu. Come
Yeah.
on. Okay, we'll talk about this later. Anyways,
Fair enough.
ups are there to set the mood. And in a lot of generic
Hmm.
anime, they'll just do a puppy upbeat thing on the end,
Mm.
and then they'll do a like cool down at the end, even if that's not what their show is supposed to be. But that's kind of like a sign of a manufacturer line anime as opposed to one that had effort put into it.
I actually think the anime studios just commission a bunch of songs every year
And then
in certain
plug them
themes.
in.
Yeah, and hopefully they fit.
But
I
it
do
also,
appreciate it every now and then where you get
when it
a
fits super
song
well.
that's been made for a show, like Isekai Quartet, for example.
I was about to say,
Mm.
ReZero's up. Redo is fucking incredible for it.
And
But
there's a
one
few.
more nuance to ups is sometimes the show will skip the up, which should tell you it's time to buckle up, something's about to happen, which is another thing that ups can do.
It often happens in the last episode of an anime because they need more time or something.
And then they'll often use the up as the ending
music, but they won't.
ending music.
But they'll talk over it. Yeah, that'll happen as well. I think that's normal for just normal shows as well, though, even in the West.
It happens in quite a few shows. I know
we don't do ups really anymore.
March Comes In Like a Lion and a couple of other shows have done that, usually when you're supposed to feel an emotional punch at the end of the episode.
What, I know Hana, I think also.
Oh God, please don't mention that.
That's such a sad one.
As a note, I like Anohana, I just don't want to think about it.
I just don't even want to watch it again, please. Thank you. I've cried enough. Anyway, so Dylan, what's your favorite of?
I've got a list. Probably the favorite one for me that isn't one of the ones that like everyone has baked into their DNA is Ranma Half's Little Date. I don't know if you guys have watched Ranma Half.
I've heard the song. I've never watched Ranma Half though.
Yeah, Little Date is just very like it's just happy for me. I love it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, compared to some of the more actiony ones, Little Date is a little upbeat, but it's not like the shonen up. It's the like almost dating up, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a love. It's like it's a up about sort of.
It got me a date once.
Emotive than. about
Like,
kicking
I
ass and taking names.
was at a party and a girl asked me what kind of music I liked and took out my phone and I played that song.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's That's awesome. That's great.
it was the weirdest thing that
Cat
ever
City,
happened.
no.
It's like, you're a weirdo. Want to go out? Sure, why
Yeah.
not? Let's give it a go.
A lot of saxophone in it.
A lot of saxophone.
I know that's a
Yeah,
random comment, but still.
nothing wrong with the saxophone.
No, nothing at all.
I mean, Riker would love any opera with saxophone in it. But yeah, so Yash, what's yours? What's your favorite?
Absolute favorite. Tengen Topper Gurren Lagann's Soario Days, opening 1.
Sorry, no days. Yeah.
Incredible op.
Is that the da 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 da?
Yes.
Yeah.
Quite the power.
So I had a lot of trouble deciding on what constitute a favorite thing because I've watched too much anime to really have an opinion of what is actually my favorite of anymore. There's just too many. I think the one that initially got me into like that sort of thing though was You Get to Burning from Nadesto.
You Get to Burning. Okay.
Which I'm not sure I like anymore, to be honest. But I used to really,
it's a
really
great
love it.
introduction into a space opera, but then that show stops being a space opera pretty fast.
I mean, it's an opera that happens in space, so you know. I would say it. I mean, it's not in the sense like Star Wars is a space opera.
Certainly
more
not,
in the sense that Days of Our Lives is an opera that sometimes happens in space as well. But yeah, it's a very it's almost an 80s kind of feel to the music.
Absolutely.
It's got some of that Star Trek artificial soundboard kind of, that kind of quality to it, but done more in like a modern, almost like a rock pop song kind of way.
I was going to say, It's got a rocky theme with a very pop vibe.
And then kind of almost a downbeat kind of way of singing as well for an op. It's a sort of melancholy at the same time as being energizing, which is a strange choice.
It is energizing, but the You Got the Burning Singer Lady is jazzing it up.
But all the lyrics are about like how life is brief and how sometimes chance dictates whatever happens to you, It can be good or bad. One of the lyrics is, I kicked a rock away and it came back as a diamond. And then another one is, grow up, your days are going by, right? So it's a very mix of terms and feelings.
The song is about taking your chances, though, as well. Like, life's going to pass you by. Do something.
Indeed. And I mean, it makes sense for the series, which is very much a coming-of-age kind of telling of the story. I really wish they'd gotten to a second season of Nadesto, or at least finished the fucking manga, so I could know how it ended. But yeah, that's maybe my most listened to song, I think.
Fair enough. As a note, a very solid song.
Yeah, I think so as well. I just want to mention a few others, probably quite a few others. So please interrupt me if you guys have someone you want to mention as well.
Sure, we'll add in where we can.
There's a recent anime called like a dragon finds a house, dragon house hunting, something like that in English.
Oh yes, yeah, dragon real estate agent.
Something
it's like trying to sell a house to a dragon.
So yeah, the Dark Lord becomes a real estate agent who just has a number of dungeons he has access to, and this red dragon, who's kind of a wimp, needs a new place to live after his dad kicks him out. So they go house hunting, basically.
They go on an adventure together to find the perfect house for him.
It's not a good show. I'd give it like a 2 out of 5, to be honest. But it's got an incredible opening, which is called Role Playing.
Oh, okay.
It just reminds me of, I like playing D&D, and I think you guys do as well.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily strictly like D&D related, but it's about this. And there's a Japanese music video for it as well, and it's about this band just getting together, and it's kind of like assembling a party. And it's just about how, like one of the lines is like, the hero and the hero and the dragon are unrelated to the story. It's about the journey and the friends,
Mm.
and it's
I
just
remember
like,
the show. It was
yeah,
moderately interesting, but yeah, the op slapped.
yeah, and it's just about this group of people getting together and just having fun like you would around a role playing table. So I thought that was a really great op to just energize anyone listening
Bring
to it.
up. Mm.
Yeah.
So, Dylan, why don't you give us another one?
Okay. I don't know if So Bubblegum Crisis for me, it's not really an op, but it's like a standard formula for their hour-long episodes. And in the first episode, for example, what they'll do is instead of having like credits and sort of a show op, they'll start off very briefly with some sort of narrative bit that's like a sideline, and then they'll go into a very atmospheric song that's cut with scenes that's relevant to the story of that episode. So it's not like sort of forward projecting anything, it's just sort of contextual scenes before you actually get into the action. In the first episode, they do the song Konya wa Hurricane, which is it's very 80s, very pop rock 80s. It's very cool. I love it. I know a lot of people don't like 80s music, but this is cheesy in all of the best ways.
80s is a popular genre. I think it is really liked, actually. But yeah, I mean, Bubblegum Crisis is, I don't know, not something I ever really got into. I'd have to look into that.
It's got its
a
own
good
flavor.
show.
Yeah.
There's definitely a you have to get used to it vibe. So the beginning is a little bit rough, maybe. But if you get past the beginning, I think you'll like it.
I mean,
Okay.
storyline wise, there's not much there. Like one episode is pretty much like almost pretty much like every other episode. I'll say this and then people are going to shoot me down, but there are differences here and there. But it has like a very standardized formula. They'll start off. There's some cybernetic crisis. There's some cyborg killing the general population in horrific ways. The AD police get involved but can't really handle it, and the protagonists then sort of descend in the last 15 minutes and have no trouble sorting it out.
Okay.
But it's like
Card Captor Security.
The whole episode
Yes.
is musically sort of progressed. So it's not quite a musical, but it's fun to go through.
There's a definite punk rock vibe to it.
Yeah.
As character design wise as well.
Yeah.
I'm going to take over then. Sorry, Chris, what did you want to say something?
Please go on.
I'm going to say Mob Psycho's opening 1, 99, and Mob Psycho's opening 2, 99.9, because they lead into each other.
I like the second one more than the first one, but the first one is more energizing, I think.
It certainly is crazy energizing, but also, as an introduction into what the world's going to become, it's incredible how many hints of what the story is about is in the op, but totally cryptic. They tell almost the entire season's story in both ops, but you can't really determine what it's about from the.
But it's done in that Legion kind of acid style. So you're like, this is just colors and shit.
There's a random apple that's pulling itself apart. I don't know what that means, and I guess it must just be autistic. And then later on, everything begins to make more sense.
Also, excellent ops to do exercise to, and completely opposed by their endings, which are just dreary and dreadful.
But I think that was very intentional.
Although the second ending is okay, the first ending is pretty terrible.
The ops energize you and get you interested in the world. They introduce you to the characters and make you excited to see these people once again, and then the Ed leaves you with, "Oh, I guess it's
Guess
all over now."
Oh no.
That show, by the way, is one of my favorites. But the Op does a fantastic job of getting you in the mood to watch the show.
What kind of shows do you think have the best ops?
So I'm gonna be a bit of a cheeseball here, and I'm gonna say that shonen have the most money spent on ops.
Yeah, I feel
Okay.
that's true.
I mean, the what's it? Chala head chala. I think that's actually the
Dragon
name of
Ball
the song.
Classic.
Dragon Ball Z.
Bleach's ops were much better than the episodes. Naruto's
Yep.
ops were much better than the episodes. What's that? Fairy Tail. Fairy Tail's ops were better than their episodes.
The opening in English for Dragon Ball, the original series, is just amazing. I can't remember what it's called, like My Adventure or something like that. Just basic thing. The Japanese version is okay, but the sound quality is just so awful on the original Japanese Dragon Ball. It's
Goku
it's
as a
kind of
little
off-putting.
child jumping across a back of a dragon while he's running was just such a cool image as well.
Yeah.
And then it's
yeah.
like the mountain range and everything.
But the English recording was just done in an actual studio as opposed to like a tin shack, so you can actually hear what people are saying. And they did a really good job of adapting the words so that it kind of fit the original, and it also kept the same feeling. And I think that was a really good shonen adaptation. Has there been a good modern shonen intro of late?
I mean,
Yes, My Hero Academia has had at least
Yeah.
3 really good ops.
My Hero does have good ones. Dragon Slayers aren't bad either.
Dragon
Just
Slayers have some.
depends which arc you're talking about as to how good it is.
Jujutsu Kaisen's opening was apparently quite good.
The Mugen Train arc was actually really good. They like the imagery really suited the music, and it suited the arc itself. And it suited the character, like, because that arc is all about, without spoilers, it's all about sort of character development and exposition. And their intro really is dialed into that.
I think the Gridman stuff is also okay. It's got that same style as the show, which is it's kind of a serious, emotional story, but it's presented like Power Rangers. So everything looks intentionally fake and shiny, but it's actually quite like a deep, meaningful kind of thing, disguised with upbeat music. So I think that's quite a nice one. I think the most enjoyable intros of late have been for your slice of life kind of shows.
Some of the slice of life ones have put some effort into getting some good music with them.
Yeah, I think like Eurocamp's second intro is really quite outstanding.
Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai as a
Was
very good
also
OPS.
a good one.
It's a very good OPS, yeah.
My Senpai is Loud and Annoying. That was actually incredible. It was one of those shows that actually had a custom made song for it. The animation
Yes, yeah, it
suited
would be.
quite well.
They spent a fair bit of money on it.
But
Tokyo Ghoul has to be talked about to a certain extent. I have not watched Tokyo Ghoul, but its up is so widely discussed that I do think I need to bring it up.
Okay. And you have. So moving on.
And I have.
Sorry, I don't mean to do that to you. Ash. Do you want to say
It's
more?
all good. No, it's just it became a meme. Whenever anything bad happens to someone, that up starts playing in the background. Whenever a meme clips guy comes along and like edits a video of events.
Yeah.
So it's just become synonymous with something bad happens and then you play that song.
Honestly, most of the isekai ones are pretty terrible.
Overlord's Up 1 and Up 2 were quite good in my opinion.
Actually, yeah, with the exception of Overlord, I would say, and maybe a little bit of the ReZero stuff.
Slime 1 was bad, but Slime 2 was okay.
I think the Fumafu of the Slime universe was actually the best one.
Yes, I suppose that's also true.
Yeah. What is I was thinking of Tanya. Tanya's op is not anything special,
No, not
but
special.
the ending is actually great.
Hey,
That's-
whoa, ReZero. If we're going to talk about the Isekai Quartet, ReZero's Op 1 was incredible.
It's true, and I think Op
Although
2 is
its
better.
Ed was better.
I might agree with that. I do like the Ed of Isekai Quartet as well.
Mm-hmm. Very
But that's
good
just
stuff.
because it's got all the best female voice actors singing, and it's all the ones that actually do sing. Oh, that's a thing that's happened of late. Is that if you get Rie Takahashi, who plays Megumin and Takagi,
Emilia.
literally thousands of other girl characters in anime, she is
she
often the
sings their
person
Ed.
who's going to sing or their op or their Ed.
So she works with a band called Myth and Roid. When we were discussing this episode, we were talking about Japanese music at first.
Yes.
Myth and Roid is a band I've been following for a little while. And she has worked with Myth and Roid. So they do the music and composition for her. And then she sings the lyrics, obviously. But they've worked on a bunch of anime ops and eds. And whenever she's asked to sing one, she works with them. So she's worked on ReZero and on the Blessings on This Beautiful World. What's that called again?
Konosuba.
Konosuba.
Yeah. Did she do Konosuba? I don't think she did.
She sang an Ed, but it wasn't the official Ed.
Right, yeah. I mean, I don't think she did the official
The
one,
second Ed is sung by all of them.
So it actually started with a show I can't even remember because it was so bad. But it was a song about music defeating monsters, and it's not the one you're thinking about either.
Yeah. It's not Razaphon, it's the other one.
Yeah. And every episode had a different intro, and she sang them all.
Incredible work, by the way.
It was actually kind of exhausting just to like keep up with it. But yeah, she's been singing a hell of a lot of songs.
She's got great range. Every Ed I've ever heard that she sung is incredible.
Yeah, provided
ReZero's
it's
Ed
not...
2 is sung by her, which is called Stay Alive. Fantastic.
Yeah.
And she does a great job of it.
Also a delightfully weird human being who can't really be talked about.
Why?
She's just such a strange human being. She does She does a podcast with the rest of the Konosuba cast.
Okay.
And if you just want to listen to like how odd she is, I suggest people go and listen to that. I mean, she's a real otaku, and I'd say in a kind of uncomfortable, like deep kind of way.
Oh, that's interesting.
And Kazuma is actually kind of the voice actor is actually kind of getting kind of old. He's nearly 50.
Oh,
yes,
really?
yeah.
And I think she makes him feel really uncomfortable. Because she's just like 30, something like that, and she's just got all these like very, very fringe geek beliefs about anime and such. I think a lot of anime fans would like her for a lot of the bad reasons.
Unhealthy reasons.
Unhealthy reasons. Are there any other genres that were...
So I've got 4 or 5 more to talk about, but Dylan, I know you prepared at least 3.
Yeah, I mean, I've just went through all my memory banks through Ranma, Bubblegum Crisis, Samurai Champloo. We're talking about anime from when I was a teenager or young adult.
Gypsy of Atonement. That was one of the things from there.
Then I'm going to talk about 3 just quickly. Toradora Opening 1, Pure Paredo, is an incredible song that doesn't fit the time period it came from at all. But every time I listen to it, I can't help but get upbeat and ready for the show. Sword Art Online Opening 1. I know it's a sin to bring up Sword Art Online, but Sword Art Online Opening 1 Crossing Field is an incredible song. It actually sold me on the show. I was going to watch it. And then I went through 3 episodes and realized what I was in for and went, oh no. But that up still is amazing. I sometimes get goosebumps listening to it because I remember how much hope I had for the show. It was an incredible premise.
I watched the show. It was okay. Was it like it's very difficult to think of anything about it specifically. I don't think it was particularly memorable. But it was. I don't. I got through all of it.
A Japanese friend of mine tried to make me watch Sword Art Online, and I think it kind of crushed him. Yeah, I wasn't enjoying it. We'd like just sit on the couch and we'd watch like the first 5 episodes. He kept looking at me. I'm like, okay, I'm watching this. Sure. It's not the worst thing I've ever seen.
It's got such an amazing premise.
Someone's eyes.
Such an amazing premise, and the first 2 episodes I think are quite good-ish. But anyways,
fine. I would rather watch Senyu.
Death Parade's Up Flyers by Bradio is also just the most incredible song. Throw Your Hands Up is incredible.
Oh, I do know that song. That is pretty good.
Throw your hands up, everybody. It's incredible. It's a great show. As a note, Freeman, you haven't watched this show, I'm guessing.
No. No, I haven't.
One of the classics, very strong suggest, super 9 out of 10 show.
Another one that Dylan will like is the opening to Death Note, I think.
Death Note's Up.
I tried to get into... Okay, so this is going to make me a pariah, right? Just straight up.
Really.
I know.
A lot of people say that Death Note failed its landing super badly, and some of the...
I hated it. I didn't even finish it. And I went through several episodes, and I was just... This is... Same with Code Geass. Same with Code Geass.
12 episodes really good.
Sick and tired of it.
I love Code Geass up there, actually.
I'm a huge fan of Code Geass. I will say I understand if someone doesn't get into that, but God, I love Code Geass.
That sort of theme of empire in the songs of Code Geass is really
interesting.
And
the fact that they put Pizza Hut in the beginning song is also vital and important and necessary for the show's character development through pizza.
I think for me, like the
Death Note was better absorbed through the manga, I will say.
Absolutely. Also, I think Death Note had a much stronger start. Like its first 6 to 10 episodes were, I think, good.
I watched the first half of the anime, and then I decided this is just a worst version of the manga. So
it might be a better way of doing it.
It is notorious for that one scene where Light describes eating chips. It's like, I take a chip, I put it in my mouth, and I eat it in like this dramatic voice, which is, I mean, I think a lot of people use it to describe how anime over-describes
or over-dramatizes really basic things.
The exposition dump is real in Death Note, the anime.
It was a dramatic scene because he was being observed in his own room. But yes, it was way overdone.
That doesn't bug me. Yeah,
I think I would rate Death Note a 7 out of 10. I would still call it a good show. I wouldn't call it a great show. I wouldn't call it something I could just watch anytime I wanted to.
Do you know what gets me? And this is just the way that I felt whilst watching it is if something is pretentious without being self-aware. If I don't like it when shows think that they're exploring these great philosophical questions, but they're actually really basic and stupid and simple.
Like Star Discovery or something.
You must never watch No Game No Life.
Oh,
it just bugs me. I'm like, guys, no, you're not some great sort of intellectual work.
We're gamers and we're suffering, and we're going to use our gamer skills to succeed in this new world. Look at us.
By the power of protagonist. But on the other side of the coin, I'm going to fight you a bit on Code Geass. I think if you watched Code Geass now and you actually got past the beginning, I think you'd actually really enjoy it.
I got pretty far in and I can barely remember it. It's just all I remember about it was that it was torture to get through as many episodes as I got through. Because I really tried to, it was huge in the day. And I really wanted to see what people saw in it. And I really tried. And I was like, God damn.
Much happening in it. And there's this shitty dressing of this like shonen protagonist thing happening.
Yeah, but it's not well done.
That school life thing is upsetting, I think. I wish they had handled that a bit differently.
If there's so much happening, fine. But you need to do it. You need to portray it well. Otherwise, it's just a mess.
as Chris was just saying, the biggest problem is they tried to represent his school life, which was supposed to be a big, important part of, like, we're supposed to get invested in 6 episodes in his school life, and then everything gets, like, tossed out the window.
Then it's
But
just a
in
giant
episode
mixture, really.
in episode 1, he's already doing, like, an incredible, big, important thing. And then we, like, drop that and go to school. So I fully understand someone
Yeah,
being, like,
and I think
disappointed and, like, what
I
is
think
this?
that's also so here's a little bit of preference. I generally steer away from stories that are all everything is so grandiose or apocalyptic or just, it's in the red all the time,
Mm,
and I stay away from stories that are so much larger than life. It's literally like the sort of progenitor story for a deity. It's not interesting to me.
mm.
And
Lelouch is
in
none
this
of that.
case as well, I mean, this person with their power, if I'm remembering it correctly, basically can do
I can
whatever they
control you
want.
once.
Yeah, like, okay, but you're not even successfully dealing with the psychological ramifications of that, right? Like, that would be interesting to me.
Hmm.
Someone, if you had an average person.
I mean, he's a sociopath, so he has no emotions.
Yeah, but this is why I put it in the same category as Death Note. It's like, it's the same thing, power of life and death, and all you have to do is write it in, and the power of anonymity along with it. And
Oh, hold up,
like,
hold up, hold
that's
up, hold
boring.
up, hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up. They do address that. The effect it has on Lelouch.
They do.
Yeah, but they don't do it well.
Only when he's not wearing the mask, though. As soon as he puts on the mask,
No,
he's perfect again, and I understand that can be kind of frustrating, but I can also kind of think that makes a degree of sense to me. But
and
let's ignore that.
yeah, and the other
let's
thing is
also
when
move
it's
on.
yeah, okay,
Yes,
fair
I was
enough.
about to
I've got a
say,
bunch
let's
of-
just move on.
A bunch of honorable mentions that I want to talk about.
Yeah,
Indeed.
go for it.
Just going back in time. I think Full Metal Panic had a series of great openings.
Yes, Full Metal Panic
Absolutely.
was phenomenal.
And then going back a bit further, I think obviously we talked about GTO having just amazing openings.
Yeah, both were good, but Driver's
But
High is special.
Driver's High is amazing. Exile Saga.
Yes,
has
although I
lots of
can't
good
remember it
least
for some reason.
one.
It's the song about getting diarrhea because you're in love.
Yeah. Oh, Excel. You have my heart.
Diarrhea is not love. Da, 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 da.
And Menchie at the end, the Ed. If we want to talk about
The
Ed,
end is amazing. But the dog cat singing about how he's going to eat him.
I got eaten as emergency supplies. Yeah.
Please salt me
Please
and
save
cook
me.
me tenderly.
So before this cast began, Dylan and I were talking about how we kind of have to sort of brush off some of the legendary ones, because otherwise everyone would just pick them. So specifically, Evangelion's Cruel Angel Thesis came up, Cowboy Bebop's
People will hate us for not choosing that as one of our favorites.
3, 2, 1,
I must
Go,
admit, it's a great song to listen to.
Yeah, no,
Trigun's up.
they're all good.
Because Trigun.
Yeah.
So there's a whole bunch of them, Samurai Champloo, that, like, if we just picked those, they would just never be beaten. Full Metal Alchemist 1 and 2. Just like if we make them available as choices, we would always just pick them.
And then going back a bit to maybe the original Gundam, it's really
The
kind
original
of bad.
Gundam has some legendary moments to it, but put together in, how do I put it?
No, I'm just saying the opening is terrible, but it's also great to listen to. It's like it's so a kids' afternoons school special kind of opening to a thing.
The song is kind of shit.
It's like the song literally, if you translate it, it says, "Get hyped for Gundam, get hyped for Gundam." Come
Did
on,
Witch
young
Hunter
man, get
Robin
hyped for
have an op? I'm just trying to think.
It did have an op.
It did, but it was instrumental.
Yeah, I seem to remember that
The
fondly,
ending
but
was sung, which was pretty good, but it didn't have a good opening, as far as I remember.
Captain Sakura had an incredible op in
I wanted
English.
to. Album Lead had a. Actually, am I misremembering? It might be the ending I'm thinking of. The Latin thing. Is that the
No, that's dead.
Is that the end? Okay.
Yeah.
Never mind. And what else would have at the time. Lucky Star is kind of popping into my head.
Of course it is, because it's a fucking worm.
It's okay. We have to actually talk about Haruri if we talk about Lucky Star, right?
Okay.
So Lucky Star's opening is what's it called? Like something centimeters or something like that. It's about a girl's high school sailor uniform being hit by a comet. I think it's just nonsense, but
But it's very poppy nonsense.
very poppy. And in Lucky Star in particular, Lucky Star was about otaku culture, and it was kind of the original moe, just pure moe girls doing cute things, right? But from a really like otaku kind of thing, where they go to Comic Con and the endings are all just old songs, old popular anime songs, right? I mean, I think they do Evangelion, they do Haruri, but they do Haruri in a way where the director of Lucky Stars dresses up in a girl's, sailor uniform and stands on a rock and does the Haruri dance while
In
singing
real life.
the Haruri song. It's Hare Hare.
It's a live action dancing man in a sailor uniform.
I think he does all of the Haruri songs in various ways. One is on the shoreline, one is going up a mountain. It's such
I remember being
weird
concerned for his health while trying not to look.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't Google him. He's probably one of those guys who's in jail now. But it was interesting, and that song really overtook otaku culture for a while. It was just being done everywhere in a kind of crazy way. Yeah, but I think that'll do it for Ops for now. And
yeah, it was a good chat.
We'll talk about what we've been watching of late. So there's the new anime season that has just come out, and I'm kind of just starting to watch those sort of things. I want to watch Heligo, but I haven't decided what platform I'm going to watch it on yet, so I haven't actually started watching it yet. I also want to watch the trash anime, the picking up trash anime.
Oh, right. The sport one.
Yeah. I mean, at the moment, I've been watching the second season of things. I feel obligated to watch the second season of Shield Hero, but I don't really want to do it.
Are you held hostage by this anime?
It's just like it's one of those big animes you kind of feel left out if you haven't.
Yeah, I do get it. It's like catching up on your classic movies so that you can get cultural references.
I discovered a really badly animated anime about a sweet shop that has magical powers. And like the first episode is like a girl buys a gummy that turns her into a mermaid. Yeah, and it's like a witch's kind of like a monkey's paw sort of wish kind of situation, where these sweets will do the thing you want them to do, but she wants to be good at swimming, so she gets the mermaid kind of thing. But then it slowly starts, converting her legs into like scaly fins and that sort of thing.
Ah, yes, Monkey's Paw edition.
Yeah. What else has come out recently? As I said, Spy X Family.
I'm watching Spy X Family. I'm watching Trapped in a Dating Sim, The World of Otome Games is Tough for Mobs, and I'm watching Love After World Domination.
Yes. There are a few others I am going to get into as well. I'm watching Kami-san, obviously, which continues to be great. I love how it's like just stereotype characters, but done in like a kind of cool, stylistic way, which is what Japan does the best. It reminds me.
And there's a lot of fluffiness even in the stereotypes.
It's like Daily Lives of High School Boys and Wasteful Days of High School Girls in a more stylized kind of way. And yeah, it just continues to be great. But that's all I'm really watching right
now. Are you not watching Kaguya-sama?
I'm not thrilled with it. I need to watch the first season again to get back into it.
I think they concentrate a bit too firmly on Kaguya and her love interest in the beginning. My advice: try to get a little bit later in the season.
I know I watched the whole season.
Oh, did you?
I
The
did.
side characters give that show life to me.
I do like the pink-haired girl
I think that girl's incredible.
and the idiot guy as well. He's pretty good. I'm just for a love anime. There's like not a lot of like emotion in the main love interests. You know what I
No,
mean?
no, no. They are having a little emotional battle with each other. That's
Yeah,
background. It's not important. Follow chaos.
right. So I don't know how to feel about it. I can't say it's my favorite anime, but
It's
maybe
not
I'll
my
give it another
favorite, but it's in the same tier as Komi to me.
possibly. I think Komi's easier to watch though. Until
Maybe.
how have you been going?
Yeah, so I haven't been watching anything dedicatedly. I looked at the first episodes of Hunter x Hunter and Gintama because I've never watched them, and I wanted to look for a classic series that was very popular,
Yeah,
and see if anything really catches sort of my attention. Hunter x
I
Hunter is not really my jam, and Gintama, I feel like I don't understand enough
you have to be
Japanese cultural
Japanese.
references because I can tell that this is like a phenomenal comedy, but you have to understand the references to get the humor.
That's the problem. I was gonna
And
say.
I'm not appreciating this for what it is. I can tell that I'm not appreciating this for what it is, and I don't know if I will ever fully appreciate this for what it is. And I'm not sure if I should just keep looking for something else that maybe I could
I
get
watched a few
into.
episodes of Gintama with the Japanese girl, and she was just laughing at everything. Right?
Yeah, I mean,
And
it
I was
uses
just like,
very
don't
classical
I don't
Japanese
get
humor
it.
techniques and comedic techniques, and it uses. You can tell that they're like
I think
reference certain
even
things that you just don't get.
I think everything's a pun in Gintama, right? Like
Yeah,
the
Yeah,
title's a
yeah,
pun.
yeah. They'll use a lot of that.
reference
Yeah,
a
So
reference to
so
something that's
the
happening.
title means silver balls, right?
yeah.
And gold balls is like it's like a macho man kind of thing. Like you got
Kintama.
balls of
Yeah,
gold, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
There's a whole
like
bunch
so
of references
he's
there.
got silver balls, so he's
Yeah, yeah,
not as good as a normal man. Kind of is the implication.
yeah.
They also have like a kind of racist Chinese character in it.
I I don't know because I think I've only gotten to episode 1 or 2.
You know,
Oh yeah. She's the
the red
weird
dress girl. Yeah.
hand-to-hand fighter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I can't tell that it is a racist Chinese character because I
Yeah.
had it's a Japanese stereotype. And apparently she speaks in like a really thick Chinese accent. And
Oh,
she
okay.
has like a speech pattern which is associated with that kind of like traditional mock Chinese kind of thing.
Mm.
She wears the Chinese princess dress like Chi Chi does in Dragon Ball.
Yes, yeah.
But to me, it's just like, oh, okay. I thought it was just a weird Japanese accent or something. So I think a lot of things are just kind of lost on our
They
Western
just go
audience.
right over the head, yeah. So yeah, I don't think that's something that's going to be getting into, not because it's bad or anything, just because I don't have the background for it to connect properly.
Yeah, I mean, it's not unenjoyable per se, but from what I've been told, a lot of the self-contained episodes, and that's basically all Gintama is a mock of something that happened in Japan. So you'd have to know Japanese news, not just like other Japanese anime or Japanese culture in general. You'd have to know that this politician, this particular bald politician, had a thing where I don't know his wife poisoned him.
That's
right?
it, yeah.
And like that's that character, and you're like, okay,
Yeah.
well, I guess this episode is a wash.
Yeah,
Fast forward.
Just write it off.
Yeah. Anything else?
So yeah,
James?
I mean,
anything else?
no. I want to watch a couple of episodes of Inuyasha, see if I get into that. Follow up with the newest stuff as well.
Oh, I'm just about finished the second season of Gundam Zeta. I got 2 more episodes to go. What's the next one I should watch? Is that
I'm gonna
I
defer
don't
to
know.
Yesh.
I actually don't know after Zeta.
I think I'm watching them in the order they came out, if possible.
I gave you an Excel sheet not that long
You
ago.
did. I should check it. I thought maybe you guys
Because
would
that
know
had the
offhand.
release list. The problem is after Zeta, it leaves Galactic Era and goes into.
The alternate universe, right?
Well, I mean, you can. You don't have to. You can keep following Galactic Era if you want.
Yeah, and they're bringing out a new series in that universe as well.
Correct.
So, but it's a prequel, I think.
Yeah, Gundam Timeline is a little bit.
Yeah, there's a lot of prequels and things that happen in there, or things that happen parallel. I think Unicorn is something that happens parallel to the main story of Gundam, or between Gundam and Gundam Zeta. Maybe I'll look into that. I might just go to like, I don't know if I want to go to Seed. If I'm perfectly honest, I might go to like 00 or something. As my next Gundam thing. I'm also going through Macross again, which I really like Macross.
Macross is interesting.
That's the right term, right? It's not serious in the way Gundam is, not at all. It's about idols.
I'm gonna drop me an opera bomb right now.
Exactly right. So it's about these usually like 14 to 18-year-old girls who assist the military by singing songs during battles. Macross
That's the tide of
Delta
war, though.
has a band called the Valkyrie, right? Actually, they're not called the Valkyries; they're called the Valkyrie because Japanese people can't say V, right? So they went with W instead. And it's just ridiculous that they've managed to kind of really incorporate that into. I mean, Semaphore Gear is similar, I suppose, but I think less well done. Yeah, and so I'm going through Macross now. I went through Delta a while ago. I really like Macross Delta.
Freeman, about Hunter x Hunter. I know this is the same advice I've given you about 8 or 9 things now. But the tone of it changes a lot after Arc 2. I don't know if you were willing to sit through that. And I don't know if the change in tone
what's the
will even be
investment
something.
to get there is my main problem.
So I don't. The problem is also I can't tell you that just because the tone changes that you like the new tone.
Yeah,
so
no,
I
sure.
can't suggest that you do it, but I watched all of Hunter x Hunter. I had a good time with most of it. I didn't enjoy the beginning very much, but
did you ever watch Beat the Vandal Buster?
who are you asking?
Dylan.
No, I haven't.
Did you watch History's Greatest Disciple, Kenichi?
No.
Okay. There are no frames of reference then.
Go, man.
Beat was great.
Beat was interesting. It was a very classic shonen, done in an almost SpongeBob SquarePants kind of serious tone.
Nice.
But yeah, I don't know if you don't like that sort of. I mean, really, is a child's show.
Yeah. See, I think I'd rather watch Dragon Ball than I would Hunter x Hunter if I was going to go back to that kind of thing. I did Dragon Ball Z thoroughly. Not really interested in.
We should do an episode of
after
Dragon
that.
Ball, actually.
Yeah, let me piss off about a third of the internet quickly, just before we change topic. So sadly, JoJo's suffers from the same thing. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Season 1 is a completely different tone to everything else. And we keep hearing about how amazing JoJo's is and how everything's a fucking JoJo's reference.
I tried watching JoJo's, and it was so difficult to get through.
Season 1 is considered the absolute worst that series ever gets.
I lasted 5 minutes into season 1. And then
nope. Season 2 storyline almost ignores season 1. The only thing that carries is one character, and it gets explained to you what happens with him. So it is perfectly viable. Yes, internet, I'm doing this to piss you off. To skip season 1.
Okay.
I want to end on a thing I should have brought up in the previous section.
Genshiken
has amazing intro songs.
Yes, Genshiken's ups are. If you've ever been in a university club for anime or manga or anything like that, Genshiken's up is like almost nostalgic.
I mean, they're up for the show that's in the show is also pretty good.
Yes.
also
Yeah.
true.
Um,
God, they made an actual anime out of that too.
Yeah,
they made one episode and made the whole anime. But yeah, they was it something lottery, like genetic lottery or something.
Who can remember?
Who can remember is correct.
Hibiki something.
Hibiki Connect.
Hibiki Connect. Yeah, there you go.
There we go. I do remember that.
But I was bringing up Genshiken because Genshiken was written in the 90s. I think the first chapter of Genshiken might have actually come out in the 80s. That's how old Genshiken is.
Mm.
I'm not entirely sure if that is purely accurate, but I think there might have been some iteration that was written in a magazine in the 80s. And it has references to JoJo's in it.
And everything has references to JoJo's in it.
Everything. It just gives you a frame of reference of how relevant JoJo's is to anime in general.
To that subculture, yeah.
It's just everywhere.
For example, which is a really bad show no one should ever watch. Please don't look it up. Which is about how nobles believe that their bloodlines have become weakened because they haven't had a commoner blood added in recently. So they find the most noble commoner that they can, a boy, and put him in an old girl's noble school so he can have sex with all of them, except they don't tell him that. And he's not supposed to do that. And they're going to cut his dick off. But anyways, Showman Sample, after 4 girls fall in love with him, one of the girls tries to educate the other girls in how to fall in love with a commoner and how to make a commoner interested in you. And one of her points was you must know JoJo's.
Oh dear.
Indeed. I mean, relevant even in 16th century Japan. So you gotta know some JoJo's, even if you haven't watched it. You gotta read the wiki at least.
Mm.
And you have to know that JoJo's is actually a show about Italy, right? Girls in Italy-ish. That's
Girls in Italy.
Yeah.
Correct.
And nothing else.
It's about some high school truants in Italy.
The most macho high school girls in Italy. But yeah, on that note, guys, thank you very much for this episode.
Yeah, thanks for the chat.
And we will maybe visit some shonen next week. I think that might be an interesting one. We'll have to decide on what it is during the week. All right, thanks everyone for listening. Ciao for now.
Cheers.
Cheers.